Hello everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of our Investment Notes. It's me and Ryan here, ready to continue our in-depth discussion on the fascinating analysis of Hong Kong stocks. Today, in addition to discussing Hong Kong stocks, we will also delve into the topic of stablecoins, which have gained significant popularity in the financial markets lately. I want to ask you some insightful questions about stablecoins and their functionalities, but I'll hold off on that for now since they seem to exhibit a high degree of stability and there might not be much to delve into in terms of volatility or price fluctuations. Let's keep that conversation for a later time. Alright, but for now, let's concentrate our attention on the stocks. The Hong Kong market continues to hover within the range of 24,000 to 25,000 points. Today, it closed at 24,221 points, gaining 149 points from the previous day, with a notable market turnover of 240.2 billion Hong Kong dollars. The futures market is currently on a brief pause, yet it is showing an increase of 39 points. Meanwhile, our Hong Kong futures are up by approximately 8 to 9 points. I apologize for the earlier confusion. The correct figure is actually 89 points as I inadvertently overlooked half of the increase.
Okay, no worries at all. I thought it was actually less than that. Did it drop a bit since then? You see, I immediately looked over.
No, but the futures market is currently at 24.73. In relation to the Hong Kong market, as Deep Brother frequently mentions, the highest target for this year is set at 25,000. Although it was not achieved in the first half of the year, now that the first half has concluded, it is clear that we fell short of reaching that ambitious goal.
It's just a bit short. The highest point was 24,874, which is about 120 points away. So what about the high point for the second half?
It's currently at 25,000. I strongly believe it will reach that milestone very soon. If it continues to rise, we can then evaluate what the next significant level will be.
What specific catalysts do we currently have available? Let me check. Recently, the initial public offering, IPO market, and the flow of capital into it have become particularly interesting and noteworthy. Typically, IPOs are launched when the overall market is experiencing a booming period. Conversely, successful IPOs can also serve to improve market sentiment significantly, creating a situation that resembles the classic chicken and egg problem where each factor influences and drives the other in a cyclical manner. It's quite clear that you need a good environment first for optimal growth and development. It's similar to a pond. You require fertile land, sufficient water, and essential nutrients for the plants to thrive and flourish. Without these fundamental elements, the ecosystem may struggle to support life, just as individuals need a supportive atmosphere to reach their full potential. Thus, creating an ideal foundation is crucial for success in any endeavor. Currently, the Hong Kong dollar is facing that specific situation. However, ultimately, the most crucial condition influencing its value is the overall economic environment. To cultivate a positive market atmosphere, the new stock market must truly thrive and prosper effectively. Yes, traditionally, many new stocks are often listed at the end of the year or during half-year ends. Typically, on the very last day of these periods, many companies rush to get their stocks listed due to the specific listing rules and regulations that apply, creating an increased demand for such listings. So it's the end of a fiscal year. Or it could simply be the conclusion of an accounting period. So what you need to do is diligently prepare the financial figures for that specific additional accounting period. This process means there's more work to complete, which provides listed companies and large corporations a strong motivation to expedite their efforts to list before the critical half-year or year-end deadlines. Such timing can significantly impact their financial reporting and overall market positioning. Today, if you take a closer look, you can see that on June 30, there were, I believe, around 5 or 6 companies that decided to go public and launch their initial public offerings on the very same day. Now, I am curious to know if there are any new shares being offered in conjunction with these initial public offerings, or if this is purely a standalone event for each company involved. I'm not entirely certain, but there must be some underlying factors at play. However, the atmosphere might not be as heated or intense as it was previously. Nonetheless, this situation is not necessarily a negative development. So if new stocks are introduced to the market, they could face considerable pressure, particularly because in the period leading up to the half-year results, many stocks were experiencing underperformance and not meeting investor expectations. The recent data on semi-new stocks has shown decent performance overall, with the last 5 stocks reporting double-digit positive returns. However, one stock, Tider Pharmaceuticals, has remained flat, not experiencing any significant gains or losses during this period. However, the previous 4 stocks have been consistently underperforming in comparison to market expectations. Therefore, if you take a closer look at the current data, you will clearly see this concerning situation unfolding. When there is a large number of stocks listed on the market but only a limited amount of available capital for investment, it becomes increasingly difficult for these stocks to perform well. If they continue to lose money, investors will inevitably choose to walk away and seek better opportunities elsewhere. This will negatively impact the market atmosphere. Therefore, it's better to have some smaller stocks listed gradually, followed by a larger one to create a more stimulating atmosphere and generate some buzz.
Generating some excitement and interest will be beneficial during this particular period. Additionally, there is a newly launched stock called Fubai, which has gained significant popularity among investors. We had a discussion about it today, and it turns out they have successfully raised approximately 13.1 billion. They were oversubscribed by an impressive 37 times. This afternoon, trading commenced, and numerous eager viewers were keen to see if they could invest in Fubai. They were particularly interested in whether its value would increase in the grey market or during the initial trading session on the stock exchange.
However, considering the absence of a specific strategy, how could such a large stock possibly fail? However, you might argue, no, there are certain costs involved. I believe those costs are quite minimal. In fact, we do not impose any handling fees, and we even provide you with valuable membership coupons to enhance your experience.
Also, when you use margin, it's at 0% interest, right?
It's true that the margin itself is at 0% interest. But when did this happen? I think it's important. I don't know. Oh, compared to how things were before, when we used to pay interest in order to subscribe to new stocks. If you casually decided to subscribe to one of those new offerings, you might have found yourself needing to pay several $1,000s in interest fees, which could be quite a significant financial burden at the time. It's interesting to see how the landscape has changed since then.
I learned from my former boss that you missed out on a share. He went all in and mentioned it's an opportunity to invest between $2,000 and $3,000.
That seems affordable, doesn't it? It's almost as if he's viewing it as a lottery ticket. Yes, that's exactly what he mentioned, treating it like a chance to win big in a lottery. Personally, I wouldn't purchase it for myself, but if you consider it carefully, this Friday, if my memory serves me correctly, is when the dark market event is happening, isn't it? It might be an interesting opportunity to explore further. I remember it's on July 7th, which is next Monday.
Oh, right, Friday dark market, yes. However, it could very well be my personal bias against Lee Street, particularly because of its historical reputation. While it may not be directly relevant, I've learned that due to some troubling past experiences involving financial records from Lee Street, I find myself hesitant to invest in stocks associated with that area. Given these concerns, I'm left wondering if there are any upcoming initial public offerings, IPOs, that might be worth considering instead. Similar to previous financial records such as those of PCCW.
I made money from PCCW, I'm impressive.
How were you able to earn that money? I exited at the right time.
Did you ever watch The Greed of Man? The Greed of Man has a saying that tells you what is it. Yes.
To be successful, get out early. If you manage to make a profit, it's essential to exit the investment. This advice comes from seasoned investors, not only from the older generation, but also from those who experienced the significant era of Li Ka-shing and PCW. Consequently, they tend to avoid purchasing those particular stocks due to their insights and experiences. However, I am uncertain if the situation is similar with FWD as it is currently being discussed more frequently. They've also brought in the Sovereign Wealth Fund from Abu Dhabi, correct? Mubadala Capital is the investment company that represents Mubadala, focused on generating returns through diverse investments.
You understand Chinese phonetics but aren't reading them. I don't want to attempt it since I don't know how to read, and just looking at me isn't helpful.
Yes, this is a capital under them, and then there's the Japanese life insurance company TAT subsidiary TDUC, which is a cornerstone investor, and their subscription amount is $250 million USD. That amount totals approximately 1.95 billion HKD. In my opinion, there are indeed two major players dominating Hong Kong's insurance industry, AIA and this significant insurance company, which is known as Wang Li. Oh, okay, what were you just talking about?
The potential should be that Hong Kong's market value is higher than Henry's, right? It appears that it might be the case, but Henry is also doing quite fine. And there's also some examination.
Yes. Everyone is indeed familiar with it, primarily because the name of the insurance company holds significant importance in the industry. However, in terms of Hui, do you have any specific thoughts or insights about this company? Because actually they submitted their listing application on two separate occasions in 2022 and once again in March 2023. And then, once again, despite their plans, they still couldn't go public, which prompted them to revise and expand their listing strategy. So fortunately, this year, they are finally starting to make their public debut. So do you have any thoughts or insights on this development? Alternatively, it might be interesting for everyone to pay close attention to how the company performs now that it has officially gone public as of July 7.
The current trend appears to be a gradual deployment, and I honestly don't possess any particularly unique insights on this matter. Just take a moment to observe the dark market data from July 7, for example. If we reflect on July 5, it was actually July 4. Yes, this coming Friday. So let's take a closer look at the dark market situation and analyze the implications it may have on our understanding. What you said is absolutely correct. In fact, it's truly never just one or two issues at hand. There are often multiple factors or challenges involved that need to be addressed. You can only pursue or tackle them later on when you have the opportunity or resources to do so effectively. it's important to recognize that these complexities often require careful consideration and strategic planning in order to resolve them successfully. Capturing a significant share of the life insurance market is indeed very challenging. However, you can redirect your focus towards other promising sectors, such as fintech, which encompasses innovative financial technology solutions, or explore opportunities in property insurance and various other fields within the broader insurance industry. These areas may offer more attainable growth potential.
Also, if you want to compete in the market, you might want to see if there are any new companies that might offer something like mandatory provident fund. I've seen many insurance agents recently saying they need to run this number, the mandatory provident fund. But they also say it's hard to run because once a company opens, there's already a certain amount, right? You're talking about running company numbers, right? Running public company accounts, right? Yes, because very few companies suddenly change insurance companies. It appears that reviving this is quite a significant and complex process, so there's currently no discussion about it. I recall that everyone is set to have their dark market event this Friday, so let's all observe how it unfolds before making a decision on whether to participate or not.
我知道啦，我自己有籌，但唔確定結果，應該星期四就知道啦，明天就知道啦。
係啊，冇啊，借故唔使魔法嘅你好，有什麼就隨時喺留言板留言。另外，既然睇到新股 IPO 就過咗呢，會上山。上次我們睇到嘅椰子水上市後走勢非常強勁，到今天為止收盤只是37.5。呢上午衰時的 BH。
沒錯，佢漲咗40%，上市第一天就漲咗10%，而且起咗技術上漲。It is stronger than the voice of the cloud with lasting momentum. On its first day, it surged by 44%.
呢支股票6.3，市場上所佢帶動咗中國首富，原來轉咗100億中山錢。你好彩唔係都中單單，唔係得，唔係單單那樣嘅中山山，係得原來佢係農夫山泉嘅創辦人中山山，因為佢現在係首富，媒體上所嘅，我唔知道你係唔係。中國首富一人係富豪，總之係富豪。
係得。
佢本身嘅私募基金參與到椰子水嘅國際批售，份有3716萬股，現在經轉超過2300萬。不過呢啲不能太早算出嚟。
要等跟首期半年左右，要看有沒有達到。招股說明書上一定有意，但坦白說，我未看到跟首期實多久。等你係得。
但一定要公佈嘅係得，得看招股數。
但如果你係過嘅配售，未必有跟首期。
Why?
Oh, it's primarily because they are not considered cornerstone investors in this context. Interestingly, even cornerstone investors frequently do not have a lockup period. This aspect is part of the international placement, which is specifically aimed at regular applicants, and it constitutes our public offering. So they are indeed part of the international placement program. However, everyone's process is quite similar, meaning you won't encounter a lockup period. You can make your estimates on the very first day, and they can provide their estimates as well.
However, now that I'm reflecting on 6603, the new stock doesn't appear promising on the daily chart. Therefore, let's take a look at the minute chart. Yes, I'm uncertain about this. I would like to ask your opinion on whether the RSI indicator is useful when applied to the minute chart. If we examine the 10-minute chart, it appears to be climbing steadily without any signs of a pullback. Even might potentially reach a relative strength index, RSI, of 70 or even 80. Currently, it's hovering near 80. Should we simply observe its movements for now? But does this new stock have any noteworthy performances to showcase?
Is there a song to sing? Simply observe the situation for now. If that's truly the case, then just give up.
People are questioning the value of trading new stocks.
It's about supply and demand. Yes, you're right, and also about the topic. Can we say that retail investors are the ones trading, but their decisions don't determine the rise and fall? Right? You can't fly high as a retail investor. You can only see if the supply and demand are sufficient. Yes, the relative strength index is a good indicator.
Oh, talking about the RSI.
New stocks are always a risky gamble for investors to consider. Don't chase that opportunity just because its price is currently low and tempting. Yes, unless you see it starting to bottom out, then you can consider it. Yes, this particular one is labeled as 6, which indicates that it resembles Yun Tong. I am contemplating the idea of reverting to 6888, specifically 6883. Thank you very much, 6883. Isn't it intriguing? 6883. It appears you are attempting to navigate your way back from the lower levels. But diving for crabs is certainly more challenging than it seems, isn't it? It all seems to be connected somehow to the essence of perfume.
Hey, am I wrong? It's 6883, right?
I'm not exactly sure what transpired, but regardless, we can certainly work on recovering this issue later on. But for new stocks, you mentioned considering the technical indicators such as the Relative Strength Index, RSI. Is it truly useful for analysis? Well, it just so happens that the new perfume has officially been released. Take a look at the RSI and you're analyzing the 10-minute chart, correct?
This property has been on the market for quite some time. Has someone previously used this number and did it return? Just ignore it for now and keep going. Yeah, look, maybe I can check out Zhou Liu Fu because it looks really good and intriguing.
It's 6168, correct? Please take a look at its 10-minute or 5-minute chart for further analysis and insights. Hey, look here at the high points we're discussing. When estimating high, and even higher, it appears to me like a short-term play, possibly designed for quick gains. At that time, I confidently stated that a group of savvy investors would undoubtedly seize the opportunity to cash in on their profits. This strategy often leads to significant financial movements, as those involved look to maximize their returns before any potential downturns in the market occur. Honestly, you can clearly observe that the rate of change, ROC, is gradually rising from its recent low points, but it still hasn't managed to cross the significant threshold of 50. Typically, I wouldn't consider selecting short-term stocks that remain below that 50 mark, as they tend to lack the necessary momentum for a successful and profitable investment. But remember, when you look at short-term charts, you decide your own short-term operations. Don't let the short-term chart dictate your operations for the next 5 years. Yeah, you're just looking at a 10-minute chart. It's really just a low-smoke trade.
If you're examining the chart closely and planning a long-term operation, it's essential to check the key level at 110.0 for informed decisions.
Focus on the long-term chart instead of the 10-minute chart.
Right, so we need to look at the daily chart or maybe even the monthly or yearly charts. Just make sure to look at the short-term chart for short-term trends and the long-term chart for long-term trends. If I look at the 110 monthly chart, it has already crossed 80 and there's a big bullish candle. So during this time, we might need to be cautious. Even when analyzing the daily chart, there's a subtle buy signal present, registering just above the level of 70. Today it closed at 60.5, and I distinctly recall that it reached a peak of 64, which is notably the highest point in the last 52 weeks. This recent activity suggests some upward momentum, indicating that traders may be watching these levels closely for potential opportunities.
You can take a closer look at this specific point. Just check this particular candle and see which one it is.
This high is currently at 64.5, which is somewhat off. As I previously mentioned during our last discussion about Xiaomi, the V17 model had not yet been officially announced at that time. This detail is important to consider when evaluating the current figures and projections. Not yet, right? I distinctly remember that after the show concluded, I ended up staying at the company until around 7 p.m., just waiting for the next show to finally start. However, it turned out to be incredibly dull, truly boring. I thought that the only surprises we might see could be related to the new AR glasses and the AI glasses, but unfortunately, we had to wait until the very end to finally see the results unveiled. It was a long wait with little excitement in between. When the U7 was officially launched, it quickly gained widespread attention, leading to a surge of immediate orders from eager customers. Recently, news outlets reported that He Xiaopeng has now become the proud owner of the highly sought-after YU7, which made for a significant headline in the automotive world. He Xiaopeng is the visionary founder of Xiaopeng Motors, a prominent electric vehicle manufacturer. If you follow the inspiring journey of Lei Jun, you will recognize that he and He Xiaopeng have formed a deep connection, akin to that of brothers. It is well known that they share a mutual respect and have supported each other as investors in various ventures, further strengthening their professional and personal relationship. This is because Lei Jun has invested in a wide variety of different innovative projects. Xiaopeng Motors is certainly one of the notable companies in the industry. They support each other in various ways, much like close friends do. Xiaomi even purchased the Yu7 Pro, which stands out as a significant move. I recall that particular moment vividly, especially how he had to encourage Lei Jun to provide him with the necessary funds to make it happen. There were extensive discussions about how, when Xiaomi initially set its pricing strategy, it surprisingly dropped below the starting price of 17. Xiaomi purchased a significant quantity of stocks, and it is now estimated that he has made around 780 million HKD from this investment. This substantial profit highlights the potential of strategic timing in the market. The standard version of the Yu7 is now expected to be delivered within a time frame of approximately 53 to 56 weeks, while the Pro version is anticipated to arrive in about 48 to 51 weeks. When this information was first announced, it took many by surprise, as no one anticipated Lei Jun would share such specific delivery timelines. This means that individuals who purchase the SU7 are permitted to exchange it for the Yu7 without any conditions or restrictions. So I might not know if Tesla will do the same. For example, they might allow changes at first, but later it could be that you can only change under certain conditions, right? Hey, if you place an order for a Model 3, you have the option to switch your order to a Model Y, correct? Now, Xiaomi is adopting a similar strategy, but the market is expressing skepticism. They're questioning whether, even with numerous orders being placed, the company can actually deliver the products on time. In response, Xiaomi is indicating that they need to construct a second-phase factory and begin hiring additional staff to facilitate the mass production of the Yu7 model efficiently.
Why is the fastest delivery 8 months? Is that okay?
Because I vividly remember, the Max version is indeed the Max version. I recall that after they officially announced the Yu7 model, they mentioned that if you placed your order immediately, you could receive it within a month. In contrast, the standard version unfortunately has a significantly longer delivery time, stretching up to an exasperating 53 weeks. But there are some that can be delivered earlier, like the Max version in about 30 to 33 weeks. But your car isn't even produced yet, so there might be only a small batch available. Lei Jun's marketing is really good, so maybe they made a small batch to sell first.
Creating a Y is quite challenging. It's not an easy task unless, of course, you produce a subpar version, which you might boast about. However, the manufacturing of cars involves a complex and lengthy supply chain, meaning that all components and materials must be meticulously prepared beforehand to enable smooth assembly. You can't simply change production processes on a whim without ensuring that all necessary parts and logistics are in place. Imagine if a bakery is in the process of making traditional mooncakes and suddenly decides to switch gears to produce zongzi instead. The production lines for these two delicious treats are distinctly different. While it is certainly possible to have someone quickly prepare a zongzi for you on the side, you cannot simply halt the mooncake production line and transform it into a zongzi making setup without significant adjustments and time.
That would indicate that the entire production line has undergone significant changes. However, will they need to manufacture some Yu7 specifically for test drives or demonstration purposes? They may also consider producing a limited number of Euro 4 models to create the illusion that they are developing something that isn't actually real. This car has already entered mass production, which is a significant milestone. Of course, I believe there are several production lines already operating efficiently on it. However, once the Yu7 is officially sold, people including Lei Jun himself have stated that the hype surrounding it is much greater than that of the SU7. And then, this is what we commonly refer to as the second-hand market, which means that once you place your order, the price can significantly increase due to demand. So aren't you going to place your order quickly before it goes up even more? I have already informed my husband about the situation, and I'm eagerly asking if you have ordered yet. It's important to act fast in this market to secure the best possible deal before prices rise further. What's the point of even mentioning that? He mentioned that if a Jewish version existed, he would definitely buy it. I responded by saying, you're not actually thinking about the Jewish version itself, rather you're just speculating on the price it would fetch. Almost. He mentioned, quite pointedly, that if you choose to wait, it will indeed take 3 years to receive the Jewish version, and unfortunately, you won't be able to obtain it right now.
3 years is a long time, but that's how it is, waiting for a car for 3 years. When I waited for my motorcycle, it took half a year, and I was already very annoyed, right? Yeah, no, but I've already been using both online and offline, right? Got a public relations person.
Just wait anyway. He said, hey, just wait. But he's such a stingy person.
It's just 5,000. Consider booking it.
But I really don't know where to set it up in mainland. He said, where do you set it up? It's about high cards, talking about that.
Oh.
So you need a mainland ID to trade, right? Is that so?
You can also use a residence permit, correct?
What can you purchase without a residence permit?
If you don't possess a valid residence permit, then you cannot set it up, correct? Haha, but I don't need it now. It seems like Hong Kong and Macau residents can buy cars without a residence permit, right? I haven't explored it since I'm not interested, but I heard my friend mention it.
Let's conduct research first. But in my mind, this Yu7 car is a bit disappointing because the colors aren't very nice, but it can be painted. Worried it won't stick, haha, just making a joke.
Anyway, so what are the key selling points of its standard features?
I want to ask about its features. Just wait a moment. The appeal has changed to being purely emotional. I'm purely emotional. If I'm YU7, oh, our show can't be purely emotional. I need to be rational here. But when it comes to cars, of course, women are not as strong as you men.
So I'm asking you what's good about it.
What was the YU7's main selling point? Let me check quickly. Why am I not purchasing the Model Y but actually buying the Model Y? The current price is already set at $253,500.
The Model Y is similar, correct? The Model Y appears to cost around 300,000 in Hong Kong. Wow, you really can't compare that situation, right? You can only get it in mainland China. Haha, you're right, but it's better in mainland China now. I'm not getting Model Y, I'm getting Clan.
Oh, so it's the sea lion that we're discussing, is it? If you ask for my opinion, I truly believe it's much more beneficial to consult AI for answers. After all, you have to wait like this for information, and AI can often provide a quicker and more accurate response.
Selling points of Y-SETI? So allow me to ask it right away. Okay, but why is my AI so slow? It could possibly be a network connectivity issue. They mention various features related to beauty enhancements and high aesthetics, and the spacious and comfortable cabin is indeed very good. The smart technology integrated into the vehicle is quite impressive, boasting computing power that reaches an astounding 700 TOPS, which significantly enhances both the driving assistance capabilities and the overall smart cabin experience for passengers. Also, there's a motion sickness relief mode specifically tuned for electric vehicles. So this means you definitely won't feel car sick or dizzy at all. Oh, okay, the ample space and family-friendly features contribute to its spacious interior, similar to what is typically found in all SUVs. Really, let's discuss if power and range will be a selling point. For the base model, it has a rear-wheel drive single motor with a 0-100 km/h acceleration in 5.88 seconds, and the all-wheel drive dual motor does it in 3.23 seconds. That's impressive, but I remember you said the Model Y is similar, right? Yes, that's right. The pricing strategy is highly competitive, positioned below major rivals such as the Tesla Model Y. This approach is quite typical of Xiaomi's market tactics. Then, in terms of market response, wow, it has impressively surpassed 289,000 units sold. However, to be completely honest, I can't quite grasp its appeal. As someone who lacks brand loyalty, I really struggle to see what specifically makes this product stand out as special.
What is its appeal? So when you asked me about its performance, I found myself a bit stumped because I was actually watching its launch event at the time. During the event, they were discussing various aspects that I know you wouldn't find particularly interesting, many of which were not related to performance at all. I hope to provide you with more relevant details soon. It's not solely about functionality. For instance, they may highlight how both the front and rear seats can recline to provide enhanced comfort and additional legroom for a more enjoyable riding experience.
But at that moment, I thought, I'm driving, or if I recline too much, how can I press the accelerator? That doesn't work. This position is for HEA, but it's not that different. The pricing is just like other domestic cars. You've asked me about the Model Y, and honestly, I really can't pinpoint what makes it stand out. Has anyone else noticed anything unique or interesting about it? If anyone has noticed, could you leave a comment to let me know?
What are its primary selling points that contribute to its widespread popularity among consumers? Or is its success simply a reflection of a temporary market trend? Personally, I believe that considering its impressive performance and unique features, it is reasonably valued at approximately $200,000. This price point seems justified given the demand and quality associated with it. Well, when it comes to overall performance, let's take a closer look at the level of confidence displayed.
This one is definitely worth checking out. If you take a closer look at the specifications, of course, it's quite impressive, right? However, driving is never solely about the technical specifications and numbers associated. Indeed, there are numerous important factors that are involved. What primarily determines whether a car is considered easy to drive or not is, for example, its overall handling characteristics. The specific drive layout significantly affects its handling dynamics, and the quality and design of the chassis also play a crucial role in enhancing or detracting from the driving experience. That's right. So these factors aren't just about how fast it goes from 0 to 100.
If that's the case, does that count?
Well, those are the specs. Let me give you an example. Do you know a car called the MX-5? Yeah, the MX-5 is known for being a very good handling car, but it has low power, only about 100 horsepower. Its acceleration from 0 to 100 miles per hour is approximately 6-point-something seconds, isn't it? So does that mean it's a car you can drive? Or is it a small two-seater with 2 doors? It's a convertible and features a manual transmission, yet, surprisingly, it receives high praise in the competitive and extreme automotive world. If the data from Mesh is accurate, this vehicle can almost reach an impressive 3,000 units. I am eager to understand how this figure is calculated, as it seems quite remarkable for a car of its type. Could you provide insights into the methodology or the parameters used for this calculation? Battery capacity and energy consumption are the key factors, right?
I distinctly recall that the battery capacity is impressively large. The last time I checked in with you, you mentioned that its overall performance is also quite good, particularly when navigating through corners. It's quite remarkable, don't you think? Do you remember our conversation about it?
Oh, that's certainly a well-known fact for electric cars, especially because they feature a low center of gravity that enhances stability and improves handling on the road.
So it has a low center of gravity. Even Apple can be compatible with Xiaomi cars. If not, they would be left behind. Is every BYD car compatible now?
BYD appears to support Apple CarPlay integration, but I'm not entirely certain about it. From an investor's perspective, it's crucial to understand that you are essentially opening up the entire operating system, which can significantly impact security and user experience. Right, you're outsourcing the OS. Apple CarPlay holds significant importance for Apple due to its exceptionally high penetration rate in smartphones, enhancing user experience by seamlessly integrating mobile functionality with vehicle systems. As an Apple user, you naturally want to find a car that has Apple CarPlay. From the car manufacturer's perspective, they want to integrate Apple CarPlay into their systems. However, the car manufacturers aren't foolish. They fully understand that a very important and significant value lies in their operating system, OS. Yes, that's right. Xiaomi is well aware of this trend as well. They frequently discuss their extensive Xiaomi ecosystem, which encompasses not only the entire smart home setup, but also the connected car experience and their innovative smartphones, all designed to work seamlessly together. For these companies, the operating system is absolutely crucial for their success, but the issue is that they lack an original OS and are reliant on Android. This could very well be where Tesla's true value lies in the market today. Tesla remains firm and resolute in their decision not to release their operating system.
What do you call it? They keep it to themselves.
They maintain their car's operating system as an independent entity and have chosen not to integrate other systems, such as Apple CarPlay, into their vehicles for various strategic reasons.
To be completely honest, when I heard Lei Jun discuss the topic, I found it to be rather dull and uninteresting. There wasn't anything particularly exciting or engaging about what he was saying. It's simply a very comfortable car, truly a high-comfort vehicle designed for relaxation during travel. However, when it comes to the car's overall performance capabilities, I didn't really hear much feedback or information about how it performs on the road or in various driving conditions.
I mean, you might only be aware that it has an impressive Ultra version that performed at the legendary Nürburgring, but you really don't know just how exceptional it actually is.
But while you were in China, did you ever take the time to schedule a test drive? No, did you make an effort to arrange one? No, I didn't want to deal with the hassle of arranging all the details for it. Instead, I simply called Xiaomi's car division to inquire about the process for scheduling a test drive for their latest model.
Why don't you give it a try if you're more interested?
I'm feeling quite anxious and really scared about driving on the left side of the road. Oh, okay, I'm feeling quite scared because I don't feel completely comfortable with that habit, and it's very easy to get into trouble.
But you haven't driven on the right side before?
In China, they drive on the right side of the road. Although I possess a Chinese driver's license, I have never had the opportunity to drive there myself. Oh, okay, I understand. I'm feeling scared too. I truly don't know how all of you managed to adapt so well to these changes. It really feels like a significant paradigm shift in our lives and work. I'm unsure. I'm feeling scared.
So you simply need to remember to consistently keep to the right side.
It's a significant change. Yes, and the left lane is for fast cars while the right lane is for slower ones.
Just remember to stay focused on your own path and everything will turn out just fine for you.
By the way, I wanted to mention that I've been diligently keeping a close eye on Xiaomi's stock price, and I've noticed that it has been steadily reaching impressive new highs over the past few weeks. It's quite interesting to observe how well the company is performing in the market. Many people claim it is extremely useful, but I have only heard positive feedback regarding its functionality, aside from the fact that it can be quite bulky and cumbersome to handle at times. Oh, could you please tell me how much the AI glasses cost? They start at $199.
Isn't it actually comparable to Apple's products? Not Vision, but rather Ray-Ban Meta, which is sold for over $3,000, specifically around $3,900, showcasing its premium pricing.
Seems like it. Yeah, and there's no stock in Hong Kong. It's currently unavailable.
Hong Kong doesn't have this product at all. They have it, but not officially. Isn't Meta considered parallel import? But how much does it cost at Fortress?
About $3,400, correct?
So does that mean no one buys it on Amazon?
I don't know, but I checked online because I was really interested in these glasses, so I thought about buying them. I initially had the desire to use it, but later several people informed me that in Hong Kong, many of its features are inaccessible. At times, it appears that even utilizing a VPN to bypass these restrictions is not a viable option. Can you help me understand the features? Will a parallel import work if I buy one?
If a VPN doesn't work, why can't parallel imports function? Which part is blocked? I haven't researched it, I don't know.
I just heard several people mention that it seems to be currently blocked. So buying it now seems like a waste of resources. Alright, we can study this further. So we can only capture photos with this device, right? Just like this. And I'm not sure if the cameras from Xiaomi and Meta are similar, but it often tilts to the left due to the positioning of the left eye of the lens. Yes, that's right. So your perspective is blocked. It's just a minor issue, so you might need to adjust and take photos again if you want to capture a panoramic view. It's perfectly acceptable, but if you suggest that people perceive Xiaomi's glasses as offering excellent value for money, priced between $1,900 and $2,000, it feels akin to drawing a comparison between espionage technology and the capabilities of ChatGPT, don't you think?
You could certainly say that, but the overall value for money can vary significantly. But the problem is, if that's the case, no one would use ChatGPT. It's about what everyone truly needs in life, right? There's no doubt about that.
However, there's currently nothing more to observe or analyze concerning Xiaomi's stock price. Let's wait and see how the situation develops, especially since YU7 just made an announcement. It remains uncertain whether there will be additional news or updates forthcoming in the near future. In terms of relevance, we can also examine the domestic car delivery statistics for June. Could you provide me with the latest updates on Li Auto? Specifically, how many units have they delivered so far this month? In 2015, the sales data I have indicates that Li Auto's sales figures for June reached a notable 30,000 units, with a year-on-year comparison showing a total of 36,279 units sold. However, this represents a decline of 24% compared to last year. Month-on-month, it also dropped significantly by 11%. While it may appear that they are the only ones experiencing a decline, it's worth noting that Geely also faced a drop. However, year-on-year, Geely impressively maintained an increase of 86%. Wait a moment. I completely understand what you're saying now. I need to clarify something important. Yes, I definitely remember that the bus is indeed running. Yes, that's it. So, let's also mention BYD's new energy delivery data for June, which is 382,585, and Geely is over 120,000. Leading Auto has 48,000, Great Wall has 36,000, and Li Auto is similar. Hey, XPeng electric cars are priced around $34,000, while Xiaomi vehicles are about $25,000. NIO currently stands at 24,000 vehicles. When we analyze the annual growth rates, XPeng emerges as the strongest performer with an impressive 224% increase. Additionally, it leads in the monthly growth rate, achieving an impressive 6.5%. This remarkable surge in performance raises the question, could it be attributed to the recent release of their new car model? Right, I don't know if it's solely because of that factor, but XPeng is currently leading the market. However, NIO and Ideal are set to release new cars in the second half of the year. Is there any anticipation about these launches? Honestly, not really.
Because product homogenization is becoming more significant, that's the first point. Yes, and the second point is that Ideal's new cars coming out in the second half of the year will all be fully electric. This poses a significant challenge for them.
They highlighted a range of high-performance electric products, including an exciting 6-seater electric SUV set to launch in July, followed by a versatile 5-seater family electric SUV debuting in September.
Furthermore, after incorporating the i8 and i6 models, they will also introduce the L6 through L9 models, along with an additional mega model for enhanced performance and versatility. So how many models are there in total? They currently have approximately 7 different models available for customers. In today's rapidly evolving world of electric vehicles, simply having a recognizable brand is often sufficient. There's no need to engage in relentless competition as BYD frequently does. Yes, they have strategically positioned themselves quite effectively within the industry, but some manufacturers such as Tesla or other companies that are currently leading in the market tend to concentrate their efforts and resources on a specific segment of the automotive landscape. Earlier, I briefly mentioned the reasons why fully electric vehicles present more challenges in the market. Ideal's delivery volume is notably high because they are primarily selling the Ideal One, which is designed as a range-extended vehicle offering greater flexibility. It features a 1.5L engine and it's an environmentally friendly electric vehicle that produces 0 emissions. It does seem a bit awkward for such a large and spacious full-size SUV to rely solely on a comparatively small 1.5L engine for its power needs. So in theory, your auxiliary system is intended solely to assist the pure electric driving experience. However, in mainland China, the situation is quite different. They promote it under the green plate policy, yet the reality is that many consumers continue to rely on fuel, effectively operating their vehicles like traditional fuel-powered cars. This undermines the intended purpose of promoting electric vehicle usage.
Is fuel cheaper than electricity?
Electricity is cheaper than fuel in mainland China, but the problem is that fuel is much more convenient.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Yes, and it is quite easy to locate. Your electric car is really slow. Even at its fastest, it can't compete with fuel right now. Oh, so basically it takes less than 10 minutes to complete the process, right? That certainly sounds efficient, which is likely why it sells so well. Additionally, it appears that it has also gained a significant foothold in the market because the charging network for electric vehicles in mainland China isn't fully developed in all areas, limiting access. In some particularly developed places, such as Shenzhen or within the Greater Bay Area, which includes the Pearl River Delta, the charging network coverage isn't as extensive as one might expect. I mean, for instance, some shopping malls still lack a sufficient number of charging stations available for electric vehicles. There must be some. It's easy to find. Yes. But if you go off to these places, it's not that easy to find, or they're not as developed, so it becomes more troublesome. Especially now in the scorching summer heat, you definitely wouldn't notice. If you're talking about some northeastern places where it's minus dozens of degrees, you might as well leave your electric car aside.
Oh, it's hard to start.
Your battery will drop significantly. So this direct and significant advantage is truly ideal for our needs. Now, if you decide to purchase a pure electric vehicle, you may lose a portion of your initial competitive advantage, and subsequently you will have to go up against well-established players in the market, such as Xiaomi, Geely, BYD, NIO, and several others. Hey, what are we competing for? Competing for ultimate comfort, for extended driving range, and for larger vehicles that offer more space. I'm not quite sure what else could enhance the experience, perhaps having a high-quality monitor or a modern refrigerator. However, it's increasingly challenging to distinguish yourself with a unique brand image. As I previously mentioned, this trend of homogenization is becoming more pronounced and difficult to navigate in today's market.
So regarding the upcoming trends in electric vehicles, I don't feel overly optimistic about the general outlook. However, when it comes to NIO and its potential future, we can certainly discuss it further. It's worth noting that the three major players in the industry have already highlighted this topic, and notably, NIO's delivery volume in June experienced a significant increase of 18% compared to the same month last year, which is an encouraging sign for the company, reaching a total of 24,025 units sold. Additionally, they offer the Firefly among other models, but their availability is limited with only 6,400 and 3,900 units respectively. Furthermore, there are plans to launch 3 exciting new models in the second half of the year, including NIO's highly anticipated ES8. The L90 and L80 models are among the notable offerings in their lineup, with the L90 standing out as their flagship SUV, known for its impressive features and performance. Excitingly, it is expected to be available for demonstration purposes in July. Additionally, they plan to showcase this highly anticipated vehicle in their online store, providing an opportunity for customers to place pre-orders and secure their own L90 ahead of its official release. Is that right? Yes, that's absolutely correct. I just saw it.
So what do you think? I want to buy it without any hesitation at all. NIO, not that I'm extremely familiar with all aspects of NIO, but their strategic approach is actually quite sound. I need to take this seriously. Their strategy makes sense as they are specifically targeting a relatively high-end market segment which seems promising for their growth potential. Yes, their positioning is slightly higher than Tesla's, talking about the Model 3, which is more mainstream, while NIO's is slightly more expensive and positioned a bit higher. However, the market is currently quite challenging. It has transitioned to a more mainstream appeal and has experienced some level of homogenization. If you continue to aim for a high-end position in this saturated environment, it can feel akin to committing commercial suicide. Therefore, maintaining different brands, each with distinct market positions, offers you a valuable opportunity to navigate these complexities effectively. Yes, but if you take a closer look at their website, even the advertisement pages appear to be homogenized and lack diversity now.
I believe the information provided is limited. Even with the logo, you still can't tell which car it actually is. No, I don't think so, and I just noticed that I paused at a particular moment during our conversation. Specifically, at this point, it indicates that the car is rather narrow, which leads to it encountering some rather awkward and challenging problems while navigating through tight spaces or narrow streets. This could affect its handling and overall driving experience, making it a bit more complicated than driving a wider vehicle. The trunk area is designed for you to comfortably sit in, and then I'll show you how to lower the side positions accordingly so you understand exactly what I mean, right? Oh, unfortunately, it can't be used as intended. It automatically extends out, but I'm not sure why. I've waited a long time, and it seems like it hasn't reached the main point yet.
Okay, so it's commonly said that having a big trunk is beneficial for various reasons, but I'm not entirely sure if this will impact its overall weight distribution. I haven't taken the time to research or investigate this aspect thoroughly.
It cannot be considered light.
In Hong Kong, when it comes to electric vehicles, there aren't many options like Tesla that offer a spacious trunk for added convenience and practicality. And this Roadster's trunk is significantly bigger than Tesla's.
However, if you mention that, well, never mind, in Hong Kong there isn't really much to discuss since Xiaomi covers both aspects.
Yes, but you may notice that European cars generally tend to lack such a bulky trunk design, opting for sleeker aesthetics instead.
But they themselves don't possess an abundance of space or storage options. It's not as if they can't accommodate anything at all. For instance, there's a radiator present, but it's not a water tank, since the necessary electric components are already strategically positioned beneath the car.
The corresponding part for fuel cars is the fuel tank, about that size. But it's significantly heavier, and the location where you initially place the engine is simply a representation, just a model. Yes, but since there is no traditional gearbox, theoretically the available space is significantly larger.
Hey, also because we have limited time available now, I want to talk to you about stock market investments and also about stablecoins, which are a type of cryptocurrency. But let's discuss stablecoins first, okay? Stablecoins are a bit more complex, and we can dive deeper into that a little later. Right now, basically, in China, various aspects, including the use of CCTV monitoring systems and their implications for privacy, are becoming increasingly significant and worthy of our attention. There are several important warnings to consider, and we must also emphasize that our research department is actively addressing and complying with the latest ROA regulations. The term virtual assets has emerged prominently in discussions, and an industry report is on the way that will delve into the regulations surrounding tokenization as well as the swift evolution of our sector. This comprehensive report will include insights on the various benefits of virtual assets, notable regulatory cases, and more. Our dedicated research department has already meticulously prepared this valuable report, which aims to provide a thorough understanding of the current landscape and future prospects. It has been released, and everyone can check it out in our research department's apps. So, let's take a moment to discuss this important topic. Recently, the entire cryptocurrency space, whether it's within the crypto community or outside of it, has been actively discussing stablecoins and their implications. So, in my understanding or perception of the cryptocurrency market, a stablecoin such as USDT, which is designed to maintain a stable value, is already functioning as a true stablecoin. Can we confidently say that this is indeed the case? Absolutely, because it enables individuals to trade instantly across various locations without the hassle of dealing with potentially frustrating exchange rate delays. Repayments can occasionally take anywhere from 3 to 5 business days or even extend up to a full week, but utilizing these stablecoins can significantly assist in expediting that process. So, your cross-border network or trade will be significantly faster and more efficient, as many businesses and individuals are already utilizing USDT for their transactions. Nowadays, the market frequently discusses how all stablecoins are essentially moving towards a state of dollarization, reflecting a broader trend in financial systems seeking stability and reliability in their transactions. That is, these currencies are pegged to the US dollar, and the pressing issue at hand is whether China will acknowledge and address this significant problem. If they continue to postpone their entry into the stablecoin market, then what are the potential pathways for the Chinese RMB to effectively enter and compete in this evolving financial landscape? No, what I mean is entering the stablecoin space, who China, if they are slow to step into the emerging stablecoin area, may indeed find themselves entering it eventually. Then the opportunity is that the entire market pie will already be dominated by the dollar. So, will it be the case that now, due to my previous observations, I noticed that perhaps Hong Kong or China had a rather cautious approach, which was somewhat reserved or hesitant towards virtual assets, particularly stablecoins, or in general, this entire virtual aspect of the financial landscape? I wonder if they recognize this issue and are beginning to speed up stablecoin development. How will they do so? Is it possible that there are some regulations now that have already been passed?
It's just Hong Kong.
I've been doing well lately, but previously, Hong Kong was blocking your access to doing it effectively.
But don't forget, what currency does Hong Kong use?
I'm asking you, it's US dollars, right? Hong Kong uses US dollars, but soon it will be using RMB.
So, it seems like we're merely speculating without any solid evidence. Indeed, this conversation is just a product of imagination. You see, the government, including its officials and the monetary authority, consistently emphasizes that the currency peg will remain unchanged and stable for the foreseeable future. Yes, they keep insisting that the situation won't change. This remains firmly the government's official position. At this moment in time, I would say I don't have a solid foundation or strong basis to confidently assert that China will actively work towards vigorously developing or promoting stability in the near future?
Certainly. If you were to inquire whether there are any underlying motives, you might conclude that those motives are entirely reasonable and justifiable.
Why are they pushing for a stablecoin scheme? Because, you see, what's the key point? What are the benefits of stablecoins? It's very convenient for cross-border settlements because it doesn't need to go through SWIFT or the banking system. I'd like to know, what specific problems are you facing right now? I can readily transfer money to you. It's definitely a straightforward process. By the way, how much did you spend on your lunch today? Hey, I'll transfer the funds to you by IBS, or I can send it through PayMe. It's really that simple. But hey, if you're a Malaysian company or a company from, well, anywhere across the globe, hey, I need to send you money. Wow, that's troublesome, not knowing how many intermediaries are involved. It's the banks in the middle, and it also involves some settlements like fees. You shouldn't focus on the fees, prioritize the efficiency first. Yes, this indeed represents a significant pain point of traditional finance systems. So what exactly is a stablecoin? A stablecoin is a specific type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a stable value against a reserve asset, such as the US dollar or gold. It's essentially just a string of characters encoded on a blockchain. I won't go into extensive detail here since you might already have a general understanding of it. A stablecoin functions similarly to everyone having their own individual ledger, which records their transactions securely. Yes, that's right. Stablecoins are quite similar to the concept of keto, but the primary difference lies in the requirement that the issuer of a stablecoin must maintain a peg to a specific currency. In the case of US legislation regarding stablecoins, it mandates that these digital currencies must be pegged to the value of the US dollar, ensuring stability and reducing volatility in their value. So first, it's important to note that there is already a significant demand for stablecoins in the market, right? What specific factors is this demand directly related to? The demand for the dollar is directly linked. For the United States, this is indeed a crucial strategic move aimed at significantly strengthening the international status and influence of the dollar in global markets. Yes, you are absolutely right in your assessment of its importance.
However, in recent months, the topic of stablecoins has been increasingly discussed among financial experts and enthusiasts, which has ultimately led to the emergence and growth of Circle as a significant player in this space. Consider exploring Circle. Yes, indeed, they are also in the process of issuing stablecoins, correct? But now it seems to be experiencing a decline. Is that decline due to Circle issuing USDC?
Is USDC truly being actively discussed in terms of its significance at the national level when it comes to the broader landscape of stablecoins and their regulatory implications?
Certainly, here's the expanded version of the text. So if I truly need it, you mentioned that even if Evan decides to issue a stablecoin or some other type of digital currency, it seems to be on a declining trend. It really hasn't risen significantly in value since its initial launch, and it reached a peak price of around $209. Currently, we see figures around 8 or 9 million, but now it appears that this number is coming back down. If we discuss it from this perspective, stablecoins represent a specific type of digital currency that will undeniably be in demand over the long term. Therefore, if these stocks can continue to be observed and monitored gradually, then yes, indeed, that is the point I am trying to convey.
Don't you think the issuance of stablecoins is important for Hong Kong? I believe that's the case, but to be completely honest, I haven't yet addressed your initial question. Your first question pertains to whether China is actively promoting this initiative as well, which I find somewhat unusual and worth discussing further. What do they truly want from us? As of now, we don't know yet. Based on the information I've reviewed, though I can't recall exactly how many years ago I came across it, it appears that since the year 2021, all forms of cryptocurrency trading have been deemed illegal. This sudden shift in legality raises many questions and concerns about the future of digital currencies and their regulation. Stablecoins are a specific category of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a stable value by being pegged to a reserve of assets such as fiat currency or commodities. Recently, we have seen the emergence of what is now referred to as Hong Kong, a significant financial hub that plays a crucial role in the global cryptocurrency landscape. This development highlights the increasing importance of stablecoins in the evolving world of digital finance. Some state-owned enterprises and certain domestic companies are beginning to actively engage in the issuance of stablecoins. Notably, JD.com has emerged as a significant financial player within the Hong Kong market, contributing to the evolving landscape of digital currencies and financial technologies in the region. It appears that everyone is engaged in speculation about whether the official stance is shifting. However, many overlook a critical factor, which is the currency to which it is pegged. If it is indeed pegged, it is highly likely that it is the renminbi, RMB, given its significance in the current economic landscape and international trade dynamics. The RMB is not fully convertible. And don't forget that approximately half of all financial transactions on Earth are conducted using the US dollar as the primary currency. That's right. Take a moment to observe how gold is currently priced and how oil is similarly valued in the market today. It's in US dollars. You cannot merely depend on issuing stablecoins and expecting them to be pegged to a stable currency in order to effectively boost the adoption and market share of your stablecoin offerings. I'm not entirely sure. My reasoning here appears to be somewhat disorganized and unclear. To clarify, your foundation is built upon the fact that your currency enjoys a wide and broad acceptance among users. It's important to note that this particular currency does not have any backing or collateral to support its value. In the past, the US dollar was directly tied to gold reserves, but now what is the dollar primarily based on? It's based on the undeniable fact that it is the US dollar holding that position. But does the renminbi truly have that same status? No. That's correct. It hasn't accomplished that as of now, and no other currency seems able to attain the same status as the dollar. So you're asking for a specific cryptocurrency to be closely tied or pegged to a traditional fiat currency, ensuring stability and value reliability. You would desire for it to achieve that significant status, or even assist in the process of issuing that currency, yet only the dollar has the capability to do so.
For now, unless there are some truly high-profile and influential stocks that can significantly elevate a particular coin, can we confidently say that?
We cannot definitively say that because the underlying premise must be that the fiat currency itself enjoys broad acceptance and possesses sufficient liquidity in the market. However, it is true that the renminbi does indeed have both liquidity and a level of acceptance among various international trade partners. It has gained acceptance among users, but does it maintain that high level of liquidity? There appears to be no national policy in place.
Since the renminbi is not freely convertible at this time, one might ask if progress has truly begun. However, any progress, no matter how small, is certainly better than having none at all.
The process hasn't started yet, which means it really hasn't begun in any meaningful way. Recently, Hong Kong has passed a regulatory draft concerning stablecoins, but it's important to note that this new regulation does not mandate that stablecoins must be directly tied to the renminbi, which is the official currency of China. This regulatory framework could allow for more flexibility and innovation in the stablecoin market, encouraging various pegging options beyond just the renminbi. Of course, I can see from the information provided that the Secretary for Financial Services clearly stated that from a regulatory standpoint, it is essential to acknowledge that one cannot entirely rule out the potential for stablecoins to be widely connected or linked to the renminbi currency. The mainland's exchange rate and monetary policy are crucial factors to consider. The exchange rate and monetary policy of the mainland must remain effectively controllable and manageable for stability. However, the US dollar does not function in this manner. Instead, the dollar's value is governed by a complex system that I hesitate to characterize solely as manipulation. Rather, it involves the intricacies of its exchange rate alongside the broader scope of monetary policy decisions made by the Federal Reserve. China, on the other hand, does not primarily rely on monetary policy to suppress its economic fluctuations, but instead employs a range of regulations to effectively limit its exchange rate and the overall impact of its monetary policy. Therefore, when comparing the two approaches, it becomes clear that their fundamental strategies are quite different from one another.
If everyone is interested in this topic, you may want to pay close attention this month, as we will be hosting special guests who will come to share their valuable insights and expertise on virtual assets and the emerging landscape of stablecoins. Their perspectives could offer a deeper understanding of these financial innovations. If you're interested in our updates, be sure to keep an eye on our announcements on the 8 Financial YouTube channel and Instagram page. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave your comments and thoughts on the board for an engaging discussion. We look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. So until that time, take care and goodbye to everyone.